a random team at any time, you're like, what the huh? Where'd that come from? You know, so I think, you know, day to day we'll see, but Khan will always consistently be the underdogs.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, HellRaisers is a more experienced team. I also was a bit surprised that they did not get invited straight to the Immortal bracket over some of the teams.
Their org's not as popular, you know. That's
I know the org is not popular, but considering how they've been playing, that's why I expected. I don't see the, you know, big names and sponsorships. I see Dota. That's what I'm about. And yeah, banning out Faceless Void against AM, good ban. Sven also hero that comes online much faster than the Anti-Mage. And on the other side, Khan banning Mag. Yeah, we've seen the Mag Anti-Mage combo where Mag just skips the Battle Fury, goes for Vlad's into faster Manta style, so he tanks up. Yeah, I think we're going to see more and more of that.
I'd like to see HellRaisers finalize their bans maybe like a Terrorblade. I think this hero for Khan is very strong for Naive, and just the early timings just might put too much pressure onto this Anti-Mage.
So what are the heroes that you guys like against Anti-Mage? Because we're seeing how predictable the rock, paper, scissors is between the Darkseer and the Anti-Mage. But even Nigma are getting away with first-facing Miracle's Anti-Mage a lot of times. And I haven't seen a really good carry-to-carry matchup that's like, oh, okay, I can abuse the fact that you showed your one position, your hard carry this early on in the draft. What is it about the hero?
Depending what rest of your draft is doing, I consider Troll as a good counter to AM. That's one of the heroes that is kind of a sleeper one at the moment. But I do not want to see Battle Fury picks. And this is also the hero that I wanted to mention. Drow Ranger against AM. If you hit the good timing, it looks very good for Drow Ranger.
So not necessarily just the carry-to-carry matchup is the most important thing, but you need the rest of the team to also take advantage of the Anti-Mage.
That's why the second pick naturally feels so good for most teams, because you pick up this like reactivated carry from the fact that you see like a weak dual lane, and then you cover it with these 3 strong bans, and then the heroes that you can't ban out because there's not enough, you can then cover with your next pick, right? So for example here, HellRaisers looking at their lineup, they might think of Terrorblade as now the issue, right? They don't have that 4th ban, so they might pick up like an Earth Spirit or a hero that has some type of laning pressure to try and maybe mitigate the potential pick from Khan. And even if they do pick it, they're covering themselves. We see teams, for example, not ban Drow but pick Ember, because Ember has that gap close. They're kind of having a pseudo 4th ban within their team. Puck, for example, is one of those types of heroes.
They might be preparing for the Troll pick, something that Troll does not like to play into because of the coil, and they needed to have a hero that holds them in place, you know. Having AM Warlock as your opener, you're lacking on stuns, and with the Darkseer on the enemy team, he can just surge them away.
Yeah. Just not as fast as before.
Yeah, I haven't really seen too many repercussions from the D patch quite yet. I was expecting to see, I guess most of it was nerfs, there weren't that many buffs. I guess Clockwork got like some minor buffs, and we've been seeing quite a bit of Clockwork, but at the same time his Flare got nerfed, so...
Yeah, I think like, for example, like Darkseer, you're still moving at haste.
Right.
How many heroes really get to haste level of speed, right? Like, sure, before you could break that, but still being able to have that, like, a free rune in the game, it's, like, still very valuable.
And on the flip side, now people are probably choosing the wall talent more frequently and being like, wow, this damage is actually pretty sweet.
Yeah, damn, boy, we're scared.
Especially with an Anti-Mage. And pick up a Jakiro for Khan.
Yep.
It's a good combo.
I get it.
We can call it that way. With the Darkseer and Tiny, they have a lot of control, something with the low cooldown ability to control either Puck out of phase shift or just AM. I'm liking it. I think they might be preparing for either TB or Troll, most likely TB.
Is there any possibility of it being a mid Jakiro that we've seen kind of shown up every once in a while? Okay.
I mean,
Alliance
it could be if you want to lose in 20 minutes.
Like Alliance did, yeah. Oh, HellRaisers taking the book, a page out of Liquid's book with their little Puck Sanking. That's a very scary lane. I honestly just love the adaptation of kind of giving away the lane for your position 4. I thought about it a lot, for example, like putting that support into that role. Like, what would happen if you let a core go ganking, you gave your like the first 2 waves to a support type of situation? And the fact seeing Liquid actually run this and it have great success, loving how other teams are also learning from it as well.
This is something that Fogged and me are doing when playing pubs. You know, we tend to share the farm.
Sharing is caring.
Yeah.
Like,
no, especially if we have like 3 and 4 that are extremely like greedy. Yeah. So both of us need farm.
I would be scared if, like, for Khan right now, because, like, what type of carry are you picking here? Like, maybe like a Juggernaut to try and just play out the lane. Life Stealer, because then, of course, you have that Surge still. You can itemize to go for, like, Armlet Deso and blow up, but it still doesn't look that good just because how scary and how much threat you have on this offlane. Oh, they go for Naga.
Okay. That is not a hero I've been seeing very frequently in a one position these days. I've been told that illusion heroes are kind of lost a lot of stock.
So the way that they play Puck Sanking lane is normally the Puck's like the chip damage, and then Sanking eventually will just take all the farm and Puck will rotate away, if it is that kind of Liquid-esque style. And in that lineup, you want to have a carry that can always push out the wave and just force, you know, go, okay, cool, you're pushing lane into me, but I happily accept that and farm more. So Naga is one of the few cores that probably could even match up into this aggression. So I don't mind it just for that laning scenario, but also into the game. When you get like Manta Diffusal, you're extremely scary. If you ever catch this anti-mage, with Song, of course, Vacuum, you can Vacuum during Song, so there will be set up into the Ice Path. You'll always be able... There's a lot of like soft combos right now that kind of running, so I honestly don't mind it. It's just...
Yeah, actually, now that you mention it, there's you can sleep during the song. Avalanche, you can like precast the anti-mage won't be able to blink out because the instances will be still going. Same thing with the Ice Path.
And that's the...
Go ahead.
I was going to say, that's the aggressive form. You've also has the defensive, which is, we're seeing so much more team fight in drafts nowadays. Naga might rise up in prominence. Even EG might think about it, where if a team has doubled down on team fight, you pick up one Naga, you control every fight. Sure, you might throw down Golem, Coil, everything, but if I Song and we TP out, and we just run back at you, we have that 2-minute timing that you've created for us, basically. So I honestly don't mind it in both the laning phase and the fact that they're kind of countering the concept of HellRaisers draft. So yeah, it's overall quite a nice pick from Khan.
Naga might have some issues in the early stages of the game. Caustic Finale level 1 on Sanking, Puck just harassing. I mean, Sanking is a very good hero against the illusions, especially in the laning stage, and Naga wants to be using those illusions for last hitting and CSing.
Yeah, you had mentioned that T-Gov had mentioned that he likes the Naga if they push in the lane, but she's known for having high armor, but this is a lot of magic damage on the side of HellRaisers, so
yeah.
If they just play the lane rather than shoving it, then HellRaisers may be able to shut down this Naga a little bit more.
Is Ember still in the pool? We might see a brother matchup, Void against the Ember. They're a bit limited on the lockdown for Ember Spirit. He's great against the illusion heroes. What else comes to my mind? Storm Spirit banned out, same goes for Zeus. You need a hero that just goes in and, you know, does stuff. Queen of Pain's also the one that can work, but
Is
then...
Timber still available? A casual Timber would ruin these heroes, I think.
Yeah, Timber's still in the pool.
It makes up so much noise, but again, you'd lack... Actually, I guess you have the anti-mage factor, so I don't mind Timber, but... It would be a little bit clunky, I think. Yeah. Overall for Khan though, I just want to see a team who first phase Darkseer and knows anti-mage is coming. I want to see a team have an adaptation for laning. The amount of times that we've just seen them sacrifice the Darkseer in both draft and in laning phase, and then the anti-mage just gets to his timing and just gets to play out a free game. Like, the lack of creativity on laning is like kind of, it is sometimes painful to see. So potentially we might see Khan push around that.
Okay.
But, okay, they go for an Underlord.
So there
Big boy.
Swap things around. Underlord position 3. That's one of the best heroes against the illusions overall. Considered to be a great counter when Phantom Lancer was one of the most popular carries. Mid Puck Sanking as position 4. So that's going to be a ton of damage actually in the laning stage. I like this approach from HellRaisers.
Can you not just put like the Naga mid though and put the Void Spirit safe lane?
You could.
And now you just like Puck won't ever pressure Naga. Naga can even farm more. But with the mid jungle camps.
And then you put Underlord mid. What
Sure.
up?
What
Checkmate.
Up? Double down. I mean, you have 2 cores mid. Yeah, but
If it comes down to musical lanes, though, Anti-Mage is probably going to be the happiest because the Naga's the one who's going to have to move around. If
yeah, for sure. It's a difficult position because this Underlord comes in at the very end. But yeah, I think it's going to be a very interesting game. I like the idea Khan had, but HellRaisers coming with this last Underlord pick might just be enough. But it's very much a lane counter, though. Getting into that mid game, Naga still has a great time. So, can it apply as much pressure if they do a couple swaps? We'll see.
Odds are favoring HellRaisers as we see from EGB.com, but we'll see if this Naga Siren may be the answer to the carry anti-mage in the first phase that we've been seeing so frequently from teams as we send it over to our casters for game number 1.
Khan. HellRaisers. Let the battle begin!
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Calm versus HellRaisers. I'm ODPixel, joined by Jenkins for this one, and we are going to get to see the Naga Siren. Is that the way to go against the Anti-Mage? Some strong picks, though, from HellRaisers in response to the Naga Siren coming out, Jenkins.
Oh, yeah. I definitely think they're expecting that offlane puck. That's what that looked like. I think the puck is going to have a really great game versus the Void Spirit. I think Naga Siren's going to struggle versus the Underlord. And I've actually heard a lot of carry players say that Anti-Mage is a counter to Naga because of the timing. You have Naga that just wants to farm for like 30 minutes or whatever, and Anti-Mage is almost guaranteed to hit his timing. But with that being said, you also have the Naga Siren who can net the Anti-Mage. You have Naga Siren who does a ton of physical damage for the Anti-Mage. So it can go either way. Like, I do think that both drafts can snowball. I think that Khan's draft can 100% just dumpster the laning phase and then snowball the game. But it's tough because they're countered in the lanes.
Yeah. I mean, looking at some of those lane matchups, I mean, as you said already, the fact that this puck's not going to be off lane almost certainly, you're going to have this Underlord come in. Well, straight away, is this Underlord just going to be able to put so much pressure on in the safe lane that early, or can they sort of adjust the lanes so they don't end up in that unfavorable matchup?
I think the adjustment, like Tsunami was saying, would definitely favor the Anti-Mage, who's just chilling top against a Darkseer Tiny. Doesn't really care about either of those. And then, we talked about the timing of Anti-Mage versus the Naga Siren. You hit that timing, it's a counter. You don't hit that timing, Naga Siren looks like a counter to Anti-Mage. So even if I didn't know the teams in this one, I would still really favor the HellRaisers draft. It looks pretty damn good.
And in terms of those timing, what are sort of the precise elements of it? Is it basically down to, is the AM going to get Battle Fury Manta before the Naga Siren gets Manta Diffusal? Is that sort of the big timing you're looking at those cores?
I think so. I think that's about it.
And what does naturally come first? If you imagine this Naga Siren and this AM theoretically get free farm, who's farming those two items first?
I would say the Anti-Mage.
He's going to get the Battle Fury Manta first. Yeah.
In fact, I honestly feel like I would love to ask Puppy this because they've been first facing the Anti-Mage forever.
They love it.
But my take on the Anti-Mage is that the reason that people are able to first pick it right now is because he gets to his timing the fastest. He hits the biggest possible spike, and sure, you might argue that he's countered by a Terrorblade. You might argue that he's countered by a Sven, but there's always a window for Anti-Mage. That's the crazy nice thing about this hero. If you play Drow right against a TB, there's no window for the TB. That's almost never the case for an Anti-Mage, even if something quote-unquote counters it, because he farms too quickly with that Battle Fury in the blink.
Yeah, I think one of the reasons why we were, at least before it was nerfed a little bit, Magnus was just another one of those heroes, right? Within power, this was a hero that theoretically just hit timings that no other hero could do in the game.
Counter him doesn't matter because he's just so huge that how do you fight somebody who has a 2-item advantage that you can't stop?
Let's see what Khan's going to do in terms of the lanes here. At the moment, Suzuya is going to be supporting up Naive against... What is going to be worth noting? This is a fun
Underlord mid,
so putting the Underlord mid, against this Void Spirit.
Okay. Well, I think that would. I mean, I would imagine that's probably pretty even. I don't think Void Spirit really cares. He'll push the lane. Underlord will push the lane as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's because Void Spirit obviously a mid laner that has an incredibly nice attack animation, very easy to CS with in the mid lane, but now you're going to be up against a hero that's, Underlord, with the early levels in the passive, does build up this insane right.
It's a lot of damage.
Yeah,
it's
so
true.
You can now contest the Void Spirit pretty nicely when it comes to just last hits.
Yeah, I would bet, if I had to bet on it, I would say this is probably Underlord favored, but it's hard to tell with Void Spirit just because his nukes and, like you said, his BAT is so fantastic. I mean, he literally has no backswing on his attack.
It'd be interesting. I think, Underlord with that passive, like, it adds up in the lane, and heroes like Void Spirit, you see as well, that the hard hits, it's going to mean that the Void Spirit has to be very careful how he approaches the Underlord.
Yeah, definitely. Funnick, man, he is getting real pressure down here, getting body blocked by the Naga illusion.
Some lovely micro here from Naive. As into the trees he goes.
Nice juke, though.
Still, it's going to get slowed once more. Has to use the Burrow Strike to get out. Suzuya getting low, but Naive, he's going to be able to find The first kill there was Suzuya getting the last hit. Some very nice control there from the Naga Siren early on.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, you don't expect a Naga Siren to be getting first blood. The way she plays lanes, the way she wins lanes is by just shoving them out, and you always get farm as an offlaner against this hero. It's one of the most fun carries to lane into because you're just guaranteed to get creep waves, but that Jakiro, man, he can make almost any lane into a kill lane because his nukes are so strong in the early game.
And then they're looking at the top lane. Are we going to see much pressure onto the AM here from the two of them, or the anti-mage just doesn't care?
No way, no. It's tough as a Darkseer versus an anti-mage, and you could harass him down maybe with some nukes and the Iron Shell, but with the Warlock heal as well, it seems borderline impossible to pressure him.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, as you say, what mana you do have in that lane, you're going to be using, and it's going to be outdone the damage by the Shadow Word heal of the Warlock.
100%.
Very hard to really get much done there. So very important that Naive does have a good time. Bottom mid lane, Mio with the body blocks. Quite a bit here to Kasani, but Kasani's cool to take the harassment. He's got a salve ready to pop. And CS-wise, just keeping it straight even at the moment between the two.
A lot of mid lanes are kind of even. I mean, it's such a small lane now. Remember back in the day when the towers were like super far away from each other? You could actually dual lane mid. You could gank mid. Those were the days.
Yeah, much less sort of early movements around that mid lane that happen nowadays, apart from those, the 4-minute power runes. That's sort of when we see the supports come in.
Right, it's for like some other objective rather than like, oh, we're going to gank mid to kill the mid laner. You're not killing any mid laner.
No.
Not in this patch.
Unless you, pretty much only those supports that are very much geared towards having those early movements, like the Earth Spirit,
Tusk.
like a Mirana.
Yeah.
Exactly.
If you hit an arrow.
And we're not even seeing those that much nowadays. We're seeing much more focus on just making sure your side lanes get secured.
Yeah, they're kind of chilling in the side lanes, even if they do pick those heroes. This is some shenanigans going on. This is one thing with the Warlock versus the Darkseer, is Warlock can't do anything about you wave cutting like this. He has no stun. He's got a slow, but he waits a long time before he levels it up, so you always have this as an option against a Warlock, which is quite nice. Yeah, this is all he can do.
Yeah, the Shadow Word damage, nothing that's going to threaten Cheshire Cat too much on the early levels.
No, not too bad. Needs his bottle, though. He'd really like his bottle.
That's your bottom. Nothing's going here for Naive. Still able to farm very nicely. Funnick not quite having nearly as much from this lane as Naive is.
Went for a point. I think that's level 1 Sandstorm, level 2 Sandstorm. Okay, so he's going the max Sandstorm build. He just wants to farm and clear these illusions. Does have 1 point in Caustic, though, because it's always great for just harassing down the Naga. Kill 1 creep and she has to back away from you.
Yeah, big stuff in the mid lane for Mayo, as he will be able to get that rune, a DD rune as well.
Full bottle, too.
And one of the nicest here to really give the edge in that matchup. And if he's able to hold on to it as well, wait until he gets to 6, that's massive kill potential from the Void Spirit. That's top lane. Gilga is going to come with the combo onto the Warlock with the Iron Shell. They're going to have a solid shot at this as Gilga runs down with Poshka. They'll be able to take out the Warlock. So some nice plays here. I mean, we saw it's very hard for them to really harass the anti-mage, but the two of them up top can definitely threaten the life of this Warlock if he's caught out of position.
Yeah, for sure, especially with that level 2 Iron Shell. Level 1, it's kind of pathetic. But at this point in the game, they're going to get the bounty runes too. Or looks like they're contesting it on HellRaisers. They don't want to
see Poshka. He's trying to beat Gilga here. He doesn't even need to. Ego's able to get him with the jump, and now Gilga, he's in a bit of trouble. Ego and Poshka beating him down. Cheshire Cat. Oh!
He only searches himself. Oh no!
I mean, okay. Was there just no... I mean, he had mana for TP. He could have just backed up himself, surged the Tiny out.
Maybe.
But he was like, see ya, buddy. Good luck, Tiny.
You're
good
a
luck,
support.
Gilga.
Yeah, you're good. You know, he had the bottle. Maybe you want him to go back to base so he can refill the bottle.
Okay.
Come back to the line.
I see.
You know?
Does the Tiny know this, or is he just thinking this in his own little pointy head, the Darkseer? He's like, I'm going to let you die.
Yeah, I think it's probably the Darkseer. Oh, sorry. I misclicked.
No. Oh.
I accidentally double tapped it. Oh, no. Oh, well, you have my bottle, so I'll go ahead and take a couple of sips of that.
And there we go. Back in the lane, and nicely filled bottle. Bottom lane, Funnick. He burrow striked in on this. We'll be able to walk out. I've seen Khan do some, good damage here between Naive and Suzuya, but every time the Funnick and King R do try and make a move, they're They get hit pretty hard. They do try and jump back in onto the Jakiro. They will get it. Nicely baiting him forward then, playing to his surprise with the stick charges that they had.
And more importantly, we have a solo kill in the mid lane.
Oh.
Void Spirits.
I mean, it's the DD ball, right, as I said. You hit 6.
He gets a
got the
regen,
DD, boom. It's there's very few mid matchups where the Void Spirit ain't getting a guaranteed kill at level 6 if he's got a DD.
Man,
It's
these...
just that insane amount of damage with the 2 Astral Steps.
Yeah, it really is.
And he's going to get more use of it.
He still
Down
has
bottom. Beautiful stuff here from Maya. Maximum efficiency with this DD. Has he got anything to grab King R? No, not quite. Remnant's still on cooldown. But yeah, I mean, that probably is the dream rune at 4 minutes, I think, for Void Spirit. It's just a kill every time.
He gets a DD, he gets a kill, a solo kill, and then he gets a regen
Makes a
rune
gank.
afterwards.
You know, it's, yeah.
He's sitting on a regen right now, so... Actually, I think he might have just used it. And look at this, he's just back mid, full HP. Man, that is very, very nice. I mean, it's really rune control. It's not, I want to call it luck, because it's like, okay, that you're right, that is the best rune that
No,
can
sure,
spawn.
I mean, they could have sent people over here towards mid, and something that we mentioned earlier that you do see a lot of teams do, but this game, nobody was going over. Well, actually,
Gilger did. Khan did.
Sorry,
and
Gilger did, yeah.
And he got that. So
And that
really,
did
it's his kill. Really, it was Gilger's kill.
It's
Solo
honestly,
kill.
Gilga's the one making the plays. You know, he's protecting the runes. He's dying for his Darkseer.
Yeah.
This is the man. We have seen Gilga pop off on some of the other Khan performances. He just does it in the big brain fashion.
Oof. He wants it.
And Poshket is trying to make sure, and he's in a position that makes it a little too hard for Gilga to get in with the toss.
Yeah, he's full HP too. You know, you'd need to toss and then sit with an Iron Shell for quite some time to get this kill.
See around the runes again. Look who's there, Gilga. He's up there on the top. This time he'll take it for himself. Having the bottle here from Cheshire Cat. Of course, haste on him will give him a very good shot of going for something.
that's
He's going
gonna
to try
be a kill,
for the
right?
Poshket, but the haste rune and the Iron Shell, it certainly is Gilga. I mean, it just continues to be magical moves here from Gilga and his Tiny. 2 kills so far here.
Learning from Crit, man. He's learning well.
He is. I hope Crit charged a lot for the lessons, as they seem to have really paid off here on Gilga.
Yeah. I think we saw him do some crazy Aegis steal too. Aegis snatch on Earth Spirit the other day. Like, Gilger's legitimately... He is carrying this team. I think this is a very being a good position 4 is super important in this meta. Like, I think this is a meta where 4s get to shine.
I mean, if you were going to make a team and you were a coach and you have one position where you could get the best player in the world, which role is the most important? Do you think that you would say that's the role that I've got to get the best player in the world?
Honestly, if 4 are mid,
4 or mid,
they make all the plays.
Yeah,
like they make everything happen, right? So it's I think 4 is just mid without a lane and without farm. So it's arguably harder.
So you're saying position 4 players are mid laners that can't lane?
Correct. 100%. Gilger is not good at laning.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of it. I think I've seen some Gilga mid on the Bulldog stream sometimes.
Just kidding. He's doing a great job, obviously. He's been mostly laning. He's been doing some rune control too, but he's mostly laning. 2 smokes too. Like, this guy wants to get active. And you know what? That's actually something that I've watched Crit replays, and I noticed that he buys very early smokes. He'll literally send a smoke out on his first courier usage.
Okay.
As a 4 position right now.
And do you like this as well? We're seeing the Nagasar and Midas this game. Or Ego.
I think I think to keep up with the anti-mage, that's a decent farming item.
Because that does seem to be the thing, the sort of theme, right? When we're seeing these carries against something like an AM, something with a strong farming mechanic itself, it does seem to be most of the time they do go for the Midas, they go for the greed, they make sure that they do have something that's going to keep them up in farm.
Right, it makes the AM's like window smaller, where the Naga is not going to be able to fight for just a smaller amount of time. You know you're going to get to the point where the Midas becomes efficient against an anti-mage, and then also, I mean, it gives attack speed, right? So it's not like Naga doesn't benefit from it in terms of fighting as well. If she wasn't a hero that liked attack speed, it would be different.
Yeah, no, I mean, fundamentally, Midas, it's just always been one of those items, right, that depending on the patch, it can very easily go from being not worth it mathematically, and then bam, you've got to get this every game. And if you're not, you're missing out on a lot of efficiency.
Definitely. I think somebody on the draft panel mentioned it, but this, like, I think it was Governor. The Naga teamfight in this game is really important. If they can just escape from the Sand King ultimate, from the Puck, the Warlock ultimate, and then just re-engage afterwards, it's huge for their team fighting.
I mean, they got some great stuff here, right? Just the vacuum setup during the song into the ice path, the tiny combo.
Yeah.
That's a lot of AoE. As top lane Kasani getting dove upon here. TP reactions coming into play. Gilga will be the first to fall. The silence there onto the Void Spirit. Mio's going to go down as well. Fast reactions here from HellRaisers. It's maybe going to allow them to get another hit. Cheshire Cat surging away. If they've got any further catch, they do so here. Funix trying to chase this down, but Suzuya's there. Lays down the ice path. And also clips Funix with the dual breath, so no further chase hit from the Sand King. But yeah, HellRaisers hitting back nicely there as Khan are punished for diving a little too deep.
I gotta say, this is a really nice puck game. I feel like the reason this hero is coming back into the meta is not because it's math. Oh, okay. Funnick.
All right, he does end up being able to get that kill there. That was the Blink Dagger reveal. Just came out onto him from the courier. Back over to mid. King R. He's able to jump away. Mio's going to try and chase. King R will go down. So Maya able to get something in return for the action that favored HellRaisers on the top lane.
God, that Fatal Bonds damage. You know it's doing a lot of damage when it lags the computer.
And a lot indeed. Maya, build-wise, is Orchid. How are we seeing Oblivion Staff? Remember the second one. And you see they're up at the top of the farm right now. Still pretty even between the Naga Siren and the Anti-Mage. So both on track. Here you go, his Battle Fury. Just a sword away.
But once again, like we talked about, when he gets to Battle Fury, he's going to accelerate a lot faster than the Naga does. Funnick, just defending the top tower. This is typical Sand King play. You just delay the game. It's so this is the single hardest hero to push into.
Yeah, you don't want to die from this hero.
He just sits there in Sandstorm like this. What do you do?
They're going to try and get in. They're going to have the Golem drop down here by Miposhka. They're going to look to turn, but Funnick is going to fall immediately. The pick comes out onto two of them. The Golem beats down, takes out Cheshire Cat. They'll get Gilga as well with the Fatal Bonds damage. So, I mean, as you say, I mean, this time they do kill the Sand King, but the time taken, HellRaisers respond, and it's another failed push from Khan on that top lane.
So punishing to fight into the Sandstorm like that. You don't know who's behind him. If you get double Burrow Striked into the Sandstorm, it is so much damage that you're taking. It's so easy to turn. As long as your team has TPs available to defend you in that tower, it's a really easy play to make every game on Sand King. You just sit in front of your tier 1 mid, your tier 1 in the safe lane, you defend.
Doing a really good job of keeping that tier 1 alive. See over towards mid, they're looking at Kasani. They've got to be a little careful how they're poking him. I mean, you see his Underlord, just 226 bonus right click. So anybody that gets on top of Kasani is going to take some serious damage. Maya has got a haste rune. And now HellRaisers, they'll hang around mid. We'll see Khan start to push back on the top. See if they get away with it this time, or HellRaisers are going to respond once again. Mid lane, Funnick, he's going to be able to jump in onto Maya with the epic combo. More than enough damage to blow up the Void Spirit. And HellRaisers take a push onto this tier 1. We're starting to see HellRaisers really just remain a step ahead in the plays that they're making, and Khan slipping up a little bit across the map. They'll start to lose some objectives.
Funnick still defending,
still holding on to it.
Even with the blink, he says, okay, as long as we're holding out this game for the Anti-Mage, we're going to win. As long as he can hit his timing. So he just defends, despite having the blink dagger. Usually you show up and you start taking aggressive fights with the blink, but of course that does depend on your other heroes' timings as well. They do get the bounty run.
Gilga. Hey, wait, what? That was the Anti-Mage!
How did
Gilga
that happen? Dude, Gilga's a 1v5
he just
this
killed
game.
the Anti-Mage. Oh.
If they, he must have been just low HP.
He must. I mean, just he doesn't even have a. He's just got Tranquils and he's just killed their carry.
Gilga,
right, Gilga.
If they lose this game, he can no matter what happens, he could toss the Naga into the enemy fountain at this point. He did his job. He's done. He doesn't need to do anything else. He's already done his job. He's done so much in this game for Khan. How does it even happen?
They're going to go for the smoke here, Gilga and Maya, see if they can get something going. They need to. We'll see again. So Smoke's up on the high ground. And then
Dude.
boom, he
Oh
goes
my
straight
God.
in. He knew Gilga. He
Bro.
knew where he was going.
That's amazing. Okay, he smoked, he placed a ward, he baited the bounty rune. What a god, actually. That's amazing. It wasn't just luck. Like, that was clearly
Like he was
calculated.
ready. Like
That
there
was
was no
calculated.
there was no sort of an anti-mage blinked here. Boom.
Dude, he was...
He knew he was ready.
It's like he's map hacking. Like, how do you... It's like he's thought hacking. He knows where this guy's gonna go. Because he smoked, he warded alone.
And it's gonna mess with the AM, right? If you're ego now, you're definitely feeling a little more careful and a little scared about how you move around this map. You're like, dude, I gotta be careful.
Dude, I'm a huge...
This Tiny's out for me.
I'm a huge Gilger fan now. Like, that is such good Dota. Alone, too. That wasn't like he wasn't going with like the Void Spirit and it's, oh, this will be an easy gank. Like, that's a hard gank to make on his own against the most important enemy hero. Man, Gilger's a god, actually.
See the smoke up from HellRaisers. Farm still, while Ego with the Battle Fury, as you say, we're now starting to see the AM pick up his farm, but Knife still holding the top spot. Top lane, Funnick able to get the jump in. They're going to drop the Golem down as well. The Song comes into play though. Can they turn this car? Naive looking for the setup. Ice Path down. King R's not going to get caught in it. Funnick is on the front, but he's tanky. Turns over towards Naive with the Burrow Strike. Gilga comes in with the toss combo. They'll get the kill on Funnick. Naive ticking down low to the Shadow Word, but should live here as they'll get the Naga Siren out of there and keep him safe. And they're able to kill Funnick and make sure they don't lose anything there to HellRaisers, dropping the multiple ults. We have what the Epi, the Golem, and the Dream Coil used. No kills to be found.
Yeah, just like Tsunami was mentioning, this disengage coming from the Naga is so strong against the HellRaisers lineup. You know, you do have to be careful. Like, there are silences, there are disables for the Naga. But she was in a great position there. Triangle's a very difficult place to fight into, just typically. I mean, you know the Naga's going to be there. In fact, they're probably looking for the Naga. And then they found somebody else, and then Naga was just there because she was chilling, she was farming.
They're going to try and get inside Khan's jungle here, HellRaisers. So what sort of a jump Funny can find. Will manage to get himself in onto the Jakiro. That'll be a free one there. No chance here for Suzuya, and no attempts from Khan to keep him safe as they back off. Focus elsewhere as the top lane being pushed in. Mid lane, Mayo going for the jump in. Found himself also a free and easy kill as Miposhka caught out trying to get some golden XP in the mid lane.
This is basically the only way to counter the Warlock hero in terms of how do you actually fight into it. Well, the Naga's a great counter. I gotta say, that's a very creative way to deal with this. People aren't really doing this lately. People think Naga's a terrible hero. They think illusion heroes are terrible heroes. But with that being said, these backline jumpers, like Tiny, like Void Spirit, they're excellent at stopping this Warlock because you literally just kill him before he gets his ult off. You just make him such a useless hero in the game by chain killing him over and over that he can't ult. He's not a threat.
And also, so in terms of the Naga Siren build, I feel like we do see this more. Is like, can you explain why you don't go for the Diffusal, why you do just skip it out and go for the Skadi after the Manta, as Naive's doing here?
Honestly, when it comes to carry item builds, my opinion on this is just that these other heroes will build around the game, they'll build around the win condition, but the carry is the win condition for the game.
Sure. So really, you're not thinking about, oh, I'll get this and it'll mean that I can kill people as soon as possible.
Right. It's basically like these are just the most efficient items currently on the carry, and then everybody else builds to enable that. And so I just think that Skadi is a way better item than Diffusal is now.
Sure.
It's way cheaper. It's extremely it's been buffed. You know, you have this.
But cheaper? What do you mean cheaper? You mean it just effect for what it offers?
The ultimate orbs are cheaper now. So Skadi.
Oh, I thought you meant cheaper to Diffusal, but I see what you mean. Cheaper.
It's like
to how it was
cheaper.
previously.
Yeah, cheaper relative to like the price before. There's no Orb of Venom that is associated with it anymore. That was a component as well. So it's been made very efficient, and then they literally just added this random thing of like regen reduction. So this battle of Satanic versus Satanic is now won by whoever has the Skadi. And the stats too, man, just so good on Naga. Make her so impossible to kill. Funnick, he sees him.
Oh, here we go. Gilga, he's gonna get caught out by this one. Was trying to get in, did get the ward down. But instantly taken out by HellRaisers, waiting for them on the high ground.
Yeah, they saw it.
coming out at this 20-minute rune time. We'll see down bottom Suzuya trying to make sure that they grab the two themselves, but Ego is hanging around, and we'll see the jump in. Maya was actually able to stop Ego from getting the bounty rune. If they got enough damage to pop him, it's close, it's not enough. Ego's out to the side as the backup comes in from Funnick with the Blink Epicenter. They take down Maya, and Ego just able to get away there. Just one hit away from falling, but he will live, and Maya will fall.
That's got to be kind of tilting for Maya, man. He was so close to getting that solo kill on the AM. Knowing that he doesn't have the Manta yet, just not enough damage. It's all magical, and Anti-Mage obviously fantastic against the magical damage. Not quite enough to burst him.
We're going to see some of these big aura items coming out very soon for Kasani. This Greaves as well, just going to make it very hard for Khan to burst the turret.
Song. What do they have?
Have they got anything in time?
Jakiro?
He's there. Ice Path to start.
And the net.
Into the net. The illusion damage and the Naga Siren. It's enough. Naive there with a heads up read to sing that song. And just enough time for TPs to come in. They do lose the Darks here top, but they kill that Anti-Mage. And at the end of the day, this really is going to turn into the AM versus Naga Siren affair. And Naga at the moment with those sort of kills, Naive staying pretty far ahead. You know, with 21 minutes in, and the AM, even with, of course, that Battle Fury, is still yet to catch up to the farm of this Naga Siren and her Midas.
You know, I was mentioning that I've heard that carry players say this AM versus Naga matchup is AM favored because of the timings, but
if you're not hitting them,
also the patch is different. We have different items. Scotty does a totally different thing. People were building Diffusal before. People weren't going Midas. Midas wasn't a thing before because it was terrible. Like, the item has been buffed, so I guess this game is actually a really good example of like, we get to test like which hero actually.
Yeah.
Like, is this still a counter?
Oh, top lane, Gilga. It's going to be found here. He has got back of a Cheshire Cat, tries to turn with a vacuum. Gilga still going to get punched down by Kasani, as Gilga will fall. And it definitely feels as well under sort of the testing conditions that you would hope to see, right? It's not like this Anti-Mage has been destroyed or this Naga Siren has been pressured.
Right,
like, they've both got space.
Yeah.
Sure, we saw how many times the AM died. Is it just the once to Gilga?
There was the once, and then this song into
then the
Ice
song
Path.
is now. But up until that point, they had the space right. Then it's just down to, are you sort of going to say, is Ego farming slowly? Is he missing some of the rotations? Or is this just down to the fact that Naga Siren with the Midas and the illusions is able to clean up the map that much more efficiently than an AM in the early game?
Yeah, with Scotty and these stat items as well.
He's massive now.
He's farming. I mean, he's way ahead of the Anti-Mage at the moment. But we'll see if they can keep that up. Really trying to get that last hit.
Radiant's top tower has fallen.
AM going for the Scotty as well. Just a great carry item in general right now.
I mean, is it at the point where, is this a patch where if your carry can't build Scotty and the enemies can, you're probably in a tough position?
I think so.
Could you sort of dumb it down to that in some sort of sense?
I think carry position is the only... This is Dota. It's, a very complicated game. Carry, not so much. Like this once again, everybody builds around the carry's timing. So that's why carry is not complicated. It's by design. So Scotty just is a very good item. It's just one of the best late game items in the game. So yeah, I think... Smoke into smoke.
Let's see what Naive can set up. They've got the combos. Kasani's going to show in the lane. Naive is going to lead him with the net. You're going to have the follow-up from Gilga jumping in, trying to get some vision. They drop down the golem. Funnick's going to get in with a two-man burrow strike. Mio in trouble. He's popped the BKB though. He's able to jump out with the Astral Step. They'll turn with the vacuum onto the two of them. Naive still backing up, holding on for the reset, not ready to quite use it. Is this already looking to be a fight that's falling apart for Khan as they've lost Cheshire Cat? Yours control onto Naive. Jump forward. He'll get the song off in time. They have the four of them, but there's still 5 up from HellRaisers, so they're going to just have to leave this back away as HellRaisers able to take the kill and keep the pressure on as they'll push down this tier 2 tower. Khan just not able to find a way to reset in that fight.
To be honest, I'm a little surprised that Khan took that bait. That's, it seems fairly obvious when an Underlord walks up like that. Like, he's the worst guy to go on. They're just... I suppose they just kind of feel like they're really strong right now. I mean, obviously that's not the case. The team fight from HellRaisers is immense, as we just saw. But I think they just feel really strong. Okay, Naive just
all right. Yeah, Miposhka hung around in the mid lane by the looks of it, as Naive and Gilga were able to catch him on his attempted retreat. Top lane Funnick. He's actually going to find Myro in the trees. What sort of gave him the vision that he was there? I mean, did he show in the lane? I guess he must have.
I think they saw him walk through this ward in the top left there.
And just assumed that he could still be around.
They assumed he'd still be there, right?
All right.
He's a Void Spirit. He wants to chill around and...
Big stuff here from Naive, though. He's just managed to pick up another kill onto Kasani. We'll see this in the mid. Okay, Miposhka was just being a little greedy.
Gilger
sticking around. Well, I'll say Gilger able to get the catch. And now with this, Naive's moving into the pit. He's going to do Roshan very quickly. There's no Underlord for 50 seconds. And Gilger, he's bullying this puck back to the base. King R's got to jump away. They're getting all the space required. They may be down 5k net worth and have lost that initial team fight in the mid. It doesn't matter. Mayo's dead, but just having Naive alive, they're doing Roche at a speed that HellRaisers aren't going to have a chance to stop them at.
Now, without the Underlord, this is very difficult to fight. We saw exactly what happens when HellRaisers has the Underlord playing in the front line and playing as this bodyguard for his team. It makes it really easy to set up that counter initiation, but without him, who can do that? I mean, the Sand King, possibly, but I mean, he's got a Yule Scepter. Like, this guy's not tanky, right? He can't run in like that. It's got to be the Underlord.
Here we go. See around this mid lane. 26 minutes in now, having the extra stuff here. Ego, Skadi, yeah, it's still 1200 off. He is that item slower than the Naga Siren, or at least half an item slower, you know. And you do feel it. Mid lane,
Song.
They're going to try for the setup. Who are they going to look for? They've found three together. Have they got the combo? Ice Path down, Vacuum into it all, but Miposhka's still able to walk away. A little bit scuffed the initiation of that combo, and it's going to hurt them. They've lost 3. They may just lose Naive as well, as Naive is trying to run. He's used up. Mayo's going to jump in, pots the BKB, looks towards Funny, but the chaotic offering still good to go. They're taking the Aegis out of the hands of Naive. Mayo will kill Funny Offer in return. Gilger's brought back. He needs to get over to try and help out his Naga Siren. Comes in with the avalanche onto the 3 of them. Naive, can he run? He's trying his best, but Ego chases him down. They'll lose the Naga Siren, and all that was not the song combo there. They sang their song. Gilger dies back. You're losing the Aegis. You're losing the Naga Siren. You're losing everything there. That just couldn't have gone any worse, really, for Khan.
You know,
and that was all on their own back there. They started that fight.
They wanted it. They wanted that. Yep, that's... sometimes in Dota, you just have one mechanical misplay, unfortunately botch an entire game. It's quite rare, I would say, because this game has a lot of mechanics to, you know, to come back, and you lose a fight, you don't necessarily lose a Rax, but at this point, with no buybacks, after the game going how it's gone so far, with so much fighting,
heavy damage,
it's not looking good.
Yeah, that was a pretty terrible sequence of events there for Khan. It's now set them back 10k. They're now having to deal with being down a set of racks. I mean, what is it that's just not working for them? Have they just not got the damage to pull off this sort of combo? We saw that. I mean, it looked to be a little delayed there, the whole Vacuum and Ice Path setup, to the point where I believe the Vacuum, it didn't actually drag them into the Ice Path in time, so no one actually got stunned after the Vacuum.
It was literally just mechanical miscommunication or misplay or whatever you want to call it. I hate boiling things down to that, because I think Dota is so much more strategic than that, but in this case it was the Ice Path. Jakiro wasn't close enough. They could have gotten a 3-man Ice Path, but they didn't prevent the double burrow because they didn't hit the Sand King with the Ice Path.
We're seeing them trying to fight again here. They do manage to kill King R. This time, maybe 5 versus 4, they can have a better chance of winning the team fight. They'll turn over towards Kasani. Kasani, is he going to get any assistance this time around? Ult's not available for HellRaisers, but funny, I say that he's coming with a great burrow strike. Yet again, he's on top of Cheshire Cat. They've got the song Vacuum into... I mean, Mayo, he gets one. Ego's still at full HP, though. He's got to be careful where he goes. If this anti-mage is going to be hunting him, and things aren't just falling into place for Khan. These fights, it's just not there. It's not there, Jenkins.
And that pit, like, surprisingly, so he does cut the wave on Gilger. That's something. Prevent that damage to that bot tier 2. You keep that alive, and you know you have you can't lose all your tier 3s. Ego blinks away. But man, yeah,
they just can't get the team fight. It's not working. The team fight's not working.
It's not. This Underlord and the Sand King, even the Warlock, like Fatal Bond. So okay, think about the things that are going to persist through Song. Obviously, if you have any BKB, Coil, that's going to stay on the ground. Even if you Song, you're still coiled. Sandstorm, Fatal Bonds, Underlord Root, Underlord Q ability, like all of these things are still going to kill people after you Song unless you immediately disengage. So it's looking really hard to fight for Khan. They need to pick off. That's how they need to do this. They need to like kill the anti-mage as he's split pushing, kill the warlock first, they killed the puck, but clearly that wasn't enough.
And up down, I mean 13k. It's starting to look pretty hard here for Khan. The anti-mage has taken over the lead of Naive's Naga Siren as Ego only gets further and further ahead. Is Naive, has he got the rest of the butterfly, or he's just
That's what
saying,
I was wondering.
He's got an Eagle Song and he's like, well, I can't afford to finish it. I really need the BKB for the fights. I mean, do you sort of agree with this, that you're looking at the way these are going and Naive without BKB just can't stand in the front?
100%. I like this decision. I mean, Eagle Song for the stats, it's pretty bad, but when you've already committed half to an item, like I think this is what you need to do. Although he does have the courier coming, so maybe he does have the full butterfly. But I feel like he's
looking at his gold.
He's pretty farmed. Oh, I guess not.
No, yeah, I don't think he has the rest of it.
But I do like this decision. I think
you think you got to get the BKB ASAP.
I think he probably wishes that he just went for the BKB instead of the Eagle Song, of course. But
I mean, at the time, right? This was before what the sort of the two fights that went bad.
Yeah.
He was leading the way. Like he was having a very solid game on the Naga Siren, and it looked like, you know, it's going to be hard for the AM to catch up. So, you know, things have changed. He's had to make adjustments, and he's done so. BKB is now there for him.
Gem on puck. Take over the map. Don't let Khan have any wards out on the map because, you know, really they shouldn't be farming. 13k gold deficit. They shouldn't be allowed to farm on anybody but the Naga. Gem will prevent that. Butterfly and anti-mage. The nice thing about the Butterfly against these illusion heroes is that not many of them like to pick up MKB. So, no, anti-mage feels really strong once he gets that Butterfly up.
Some tips coming out there from the team over towards Meposhka. He's ready to play full ags on the Warlock, ready for the next fight. As in they come with the smoke. Straight up to the high ground. HellRaisers looking to start something. Funnick's going to get the jump in onto Gilga. And use the song. Let's see if they can do a combo this time round. Here we have it, focusing down Funnick and Ego. Funnick's able to use himself up in the air. Gilga in trouble as the golems beat him down. BKB popped by Naive. He turns over towards the Underlord. Mayo has the control on King Art, drags him back with the Remnant, but Ego jumps over, forcing Mayo to jump away with the Astral Step. It's 1-for-1 so far. Ego, he's looking for further cleanup. The Mana Void comes out to Cheshire Cat, held in place by the clumsy net. The Darkseer will fall. Suzuya and Naive on the retreat. Suzuya trying to TP out, but the burst of King Art finishes him off in time. Naive will get some more illusions out, but he's surrounded by the team of HellRaisers. 4 dead, and they're going to call it. You've had 3 team fights where nothing's gone your way. They just don't have the tools to win them. And HellRaisers, they'll take this game 1 victory off the back of that.
Oh, man. Not anymore, I should say. Like, they don't have the